With the channel now in a limbo state due to the main Abyss new season's anime's conclusion, I needed to find my eldritch, body horror, child torture fix elsewhere. And where else better than Pokemon? What, don't believe me? This guy used to be a person, this guy eats kids, and I mean this guy, like, just look at him! Now, I've done a few Nuzlockes already, and I'm pretty bloody good at it if you disregard the 30 misplays, 40 miscalcs, and hundreds of dead bodies. So after my randomized Nuzlocke, I felt like jumping back into the normal vanilla Pokemon games with the hardcore Nuzlocke rules at play. They are exactly the same as last time, but if you want to see them, you can pause the video now, and if you're lucky, you might even pause at the right frame to see a super epic message on screen. We start our journey inside of our room accompanied by our two friends Sharon and Bianca, or should I say annoying and don't care. The professor left us with 3 Pokeballs as a gift, and we meet our fated companion, HamFam. Together with HamFam, we take on Bianca and her Snivy, and, well... holy shit! Alright, so that was close to say the least, but HamFam and I are just getting warmed up. Together we take on Sharon and his Oshawott and... oh, come on! Well, I haven't gotten any Pokeballs just yet, so the Nuzlocke hasn't technically begun. After trashing my room and leaving it to my mum to clean up, like the little shit stain of a son I am, I head out with the boys and Bianca to Route 1. On our way to Accumula Town, we are given some Pokeballs and encounter our first Pokemon, a Lillipup. And this little guy's name is Cocoa Bean. We then beat up a bunch of the other Lillipups to make that small level number go bigger. We reach Accumula Town and Sharon weaves us in his direction. It looks like the Elon Musk Defender Society escaped from the circus and now are spouting some more of their gobbledygook to some very impressionable NPCs. Let's call them Team Plasma. Yeah, I like that name better. A cool looking dude with a bad attitude who insists he isn't a Ninja Turtle named N challenges us to a battle. He believes he can talk to Pokemon, much like how I convinced my friends in primary school that my Bakugan could speak to me, because the only thing special about me back in those days was my inability to, you know, make friends. Interrupting my childhood trauma is N's Purloin. A cool frame-by-frame animation plays that I went and did, and well, it was a lot cooler than the actual fight. We crit one shot. We venture to Route 2 and encounter Patricia the Pat Rat, a decent Pokemon early game. I couldn't think of a character arc for her, so let's just say she's a coffee addict and her best friend is a plate of salad that can speak. We arrive in Strashen City, and before taking on the gym, we are given a Pansage in the Dreamyard named Apple Pie. Seeing as I picked a pig as my starter, my opponent for the gym is none other than Cress. Though calling him an opponent is far too big a compliment considering how one-sided the fight was. The first badge is ours, and after obtaining it, we head back to the Dreamyard and see a Munna surrounded by a bunch of Plasmagons. They attempt to milk Munna for their dream miss, so we attempt to beat them to a pulp. Munna then reconnects with her mother. Aww. And we continue our journey down to Route 3, where Sharon appears and challenges us to a battle. Oshawott emerges, so we just beat his ass red. Why, hello there, Pidove. Your name is Olivia. A small girl's Pokemon gets captured, so we venture into a cave to find them. And lo and behold, the Plasma Grunts are pulling some of their hilarious japes yet again. HamFam and Cocoa Bean deal with their antics and evolve in the process. And this rabid display of violence attracts the attention of a Woobat we name Batfink. We arrive into Crane City to take on the gym leader Lenora. This gym is infamous for sweeping teams so they aren't prepared for it, but thankfully, I've had to restart this run a couple times already because of this gym fight. So considering the runtime of this video, context clues would lead you to believe we win this fight. And we do, but not without loss. Her Watchog is packing Retaliate. So once the Herdier goes down, Watchog follows up with a Retaliate which deals 140 base damage if a Pokemon on her team has previously fainted. Also it's a normal type, so stab damage is also applied. Basically, this thing can one-shot any Pokemon on my team. So the plan was simple. Use Patricia as bait for Retaliate and kill this thing with HamFam. Now, look, I know this was scummy, but like, come on! Look at her! She's basically begging for death at this point. By the time the Herdier went down, Patricia only had 11 HP, so it just made sense in the moment. Patricia then gets Rocket Punch to oblivion, and her favorite salad is very, very sad. Aww. But thanks to her sacrifice, HamFam gets 2 arm thrusts in, and the gym badge is ours. We learned shortly after that Team Plasma has stolen the head of a dragon statue inside of the museum. Because they thought it was a rock, but it turns out it was the wrong rock, because rocks are different, you see, and the people who write these games talk like this, actually. And now we are the local geologists with the task of tracking it down. We venture into the Pinwheel Forest to pursue them. Fighting off goons, Olivia evolves into a Tranquil, and we capture an adorable little Seawaddle named Ducky. After locating the skull, Lenora thanks us. And Castelia City's gym leader Berg tells us to meet him at Castelia to duke it out for the 3rd gym badge. We venture to the Sky Arrow Bridge. We get this really cool but extremely unnecessary presentation of how big this bridge actually is. But hey, I'm not complaining. After all, Pokemon developers recently have been infamous for not going the extra mile in their games. The sights of Castelia City are so impressive that it makes Apple Pie evolve into a Simisage out of sheer bewilderment. We are interrupted in our sightseeing when Bianca informs us that her Pokemon was stolen by some of the Plasma Pals. So together with Berg, we track them down. We encounter Ghestis, the leader of Team Plasma, and he talks about the legend of a hero and a unity with the Black Dragon that brought the hearts of Pokemon and people together, which in turn created the Unova region. He says that if he can win the people's hearts and minds, they can easily return the world to that state.
Guys, he's clearly evil. How would only letting him have Pokemon save humanity and Pokemon alike?
Because, fuck you. And then he vanishes. Bianca and her Pokemon are then reunited. Aww. Now with that distraction out the way, we head towards the third gym. Olivia sweeps all the gym encounters alongside Batfink, with Ducky riding on her back and secretly gaining experience points. Oh, and I think Berg got caught in that sweep too, because we also got the third gym badge. We make it to Emolga City, passing through Route 4, and encounter Ghestis the Shauntal, which is honestly a pretty great encounter, especially for this gym. Fun fact, the run-ins video was only one of 3 where I managed to beat this gym. So this time, I wanted to over-prepare. We head to Route 16 and have a bloody excellent encounter with a Cincinnati. I name her Rapunzel because she's pretty and I love her. 2 great encounters very quickly become 3. When in Lost Lawn Forest, we encounter Vivi, the Venipede. We then head to Route 5 and capture a Liepard, which is... now that I think about it. Finally, we take on the 4th gym, Elisa. She throws out an Emolga, which we respond with a Rapunzel. Emolga immediately Volt switches into the other Emolga, and we use Sing to put it to sleep. From here, I switch on to Vivi as Emolga continues to sleep. Emolga then immediately wakes up and aerial aces Vivi, who takes half health worth of damage, but successfully gets a Screech in. Now, with a Screech in effect and Assurance, Emolga will go for the kill using aerial ace. I make the call to sack Vivi to provoke her poison point ability, leaving Emolga with a poison. Vivi falls to make way for Goobs. I'm sorry, little guy. We will persevere in your honor. With Shauntal being a ground type, Emolga wasn't going to use Volt Switch. It would instead use either aerial ace or a quick attack, which is exactly what I had planned for. Goobs takes the aerial ace, which half healthens her, but she follows up with a Torment, preventing Emolga from using the same move twice, meaning the next move she has to use is a quick attack, which will not kill, and allows Goobs to use Assurance, which deals double damage if the user is attacked in the same turn. Goobs is able to bring Emolga straight into the critical red, and the poison from earlier finishes Emolga off. Whew! Thank God that's over, and oh my god, there's another one. With the second Emolga out, I switch on the Cocoa Bean, who tanks the aerial ace without trouble. She goes in for the crunch, but Emolga Volt switches into a Substriker, who takes very little damage. The only thing I have that is strong enough to take this demon on is Hamfam, who will need some time to buff himself up. But just to survive hits from this beast, I need a clean switch. So I switch Cocoa Bean out with Goobs and she takes her final stand. She endures the spark, but unfortunately is then killed by the quick attack the next turn. With an open opportunity, Rapunzel tanks the spark and uses Sing, putting the zebra to sleep. With this, I switch on to Hamfam, and with a Quick Claw in effect, I kid you not, he uses Work Up 3 times in succession before being hit with Zebstriker's Volt Switch. Hamfam one-shots the Emolga with a Flame Charge, which has now made him faster than Zebstriker. He then finishes the fight off. After the memorial service in Route 5, Sharon decides to challenge us to a battle, which, I'm gonna be honest, is really insensitive, so we buried him as well. It felt really good. We then get another bridge cutscene, and I swear there must be some kind of architecture fetish going on in this game. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hey! We arrive in Driftveil City and meet the gym leader, Clay. He says that Team Plasma are hiding in the fridge, so we locate the essential living supply, take the last ice cream there, and give it the name Cream Dream. Which I thought at the time was a cute name, until seconds after naming it. The Plasma Goons apparently were saving that ice cream for later, so in a fit of rage they attempt to knock our daylights out. But with the combined efforts of Hamfam and Batfink, we make it without any casualties. Clay reunites with his fridge, and thanks us with a gym battle. It, however, is a complete sweep thanks to Apple Pie. This fight was the embodiment of like tier 3 levels of simping. Apple Pie managed to charm every single Pokemon in this fight, whilst also getting swaggered by Krokorok, but managed to not hit herself once. We head to Route 6, which I'm super excited for. In this route, there's a chance to capture an Emolga in shaky grass. And if I'm honest, Emolga is one of my favourite Pokemon in this region, and I don't give a Rattatat's ass if that makes me basic. I spam repels and the left and right button, and finally, the bush appears. And... oh look, it's Emolga! But my poopy luck isn't super awful, as inside the Mistralton Cave, I meet Zapaptic Link. And look, sure he's ugly, but he's trying his best, and that's what matters. And also challenges us to a battle. There was a moment where I almost lost Hamfam to a Ferroseed, but don't worry, he's fine. Aren't you, buddy? We arrive in Route 7, which I'm super excited for, as 7 is the number that comes after 6. And in Route 6, we had a chance to capture an Emolga. And so does Route 7! Now that the most common Pokemon encounter in the shaky grass has gotten captured already, it ensures an Emolga capture. Alright, let's do this thing! Okay, this time for real. Alright, let's go. Now, I'm gonna kill myself! After 45 minutes, 2,700 seconds worth of encounters, I gave up. I called Substracker instead. Its name is Pinstripe. And look, I know he's better, but like, come on, man! Inside the Slotstick Tower, a Litwick emerges. Litwick, that's so fucking lit. We then take on Skylar, the gym leader of Mistrolden. Through the combined efforts of Pinstripe and Zapap, we secure that badge without failure. Man, 6 gyms in and only 3 casualties? I feel like things are going a little too well, but that feeling came with a sudden curse. I looked towards HamFam and realized, oh no. While I haven't been using him in gym fights, I realized too late that he is far too overleveled. Which is a problem, because the next gym is kind of, you know, an ice gym. So I ask him to relax his muscles in the meantime and create a new team. Heading towards Twisted Mountain, Sharon arrives and challenges us to a battle, which I wasn't at all prepared for. Sharon is packing a pretty consistent team, and I haven't gotten this far in a Nuzlocke before, so I was unaware of his moveset. Zapap goes toe-to-toe with the user fan and barely makes it out alive. Then appears the Simseer. I don't really have an answer for him, so I switch on to Batfink. Batfink tanks the Flame Burst and in return lands an Aerial Ace, causing him to flinch. Another Aerial Ace comes out and that crits and kills the Simseer. Next appears the Lipard, and considering the damage that Batfink just did, he goes in for another Aerial Ace, only to half health the Lipard, and is then killed by its use of Assurance. Oh, I didn't know he had that move! Shit! It sucks to have lost Batfink, a Pokemon who's been with us for so long, to a fight that could have very easily been avoided. But on the bright side, my misplay gave us a clean switch onto Pinstripe, who finishes off the battle. I'm sorry, little buddy. I'll be Bat-thinking of you in heaven. But hey, when it rains, it pours, and inside the Twisted Mountain, it's soaking, like my jocks after playing Roblox but on the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 map, as I have a truly fated encounter. Oh! We capture her and name her Socks. Going through this mountain was rough. Trainers from every crevice of the cave would challenge me, and my potion supply was very limited. Because in a no-item run, I didn't think I'd need to buy any, but we managed to get through it. Barely. We managed to make it to Icirrus City and challenge Gym Leader Bryson. While HamFam was still relaxing those muscles, I needed to utilize other Pokemon in this fight. Bryson leads with Vanillish, and to answer, I use Socks. Vanillish begins its Acid Armored spam, and Socks goes in for the Rock Slide, only to miss completely. Vanillish again uses Acid Armor, and the Rock Slide connects, half-healthing it instantly. Vanillish again uses Acid Armor, and Socks returns with a Rock Slide that fails to connect yet again. So Socks makes up for it the next turn by landing it, putting Vanillish in the red, and causing a flinch. But it then heals with the first Hyper Potion. This fight gets a little rough, as for some reason we consistently miss Rock Slides, only putting Vanillish in the low yellow, and Vanillish successfully lands 2 critical hit Frost Breath, putting Socks in the low yellow. Because I didn't want to risk any misses, I switched on to Pinstripe who tanks the Frost Breath. He follows up with a Flame Charge, but despite being super effective, does very little damage because of the Acid Armor. But we secure the fight, with it down to the wire. Pinstripe was 6 HP away from death, and I'm 6 seconds away from passing out. Out comes the Beartic. To answer, I throw out so fucking lit, thinking the little candle could outspeed the Beartic. Which in hindsight, was dumb. It doesn't even have legs. As a result, so fucking lit explodes and then dies. Rapunzel then steps up and puts the Beartic to sleep, which allows a clean switch onto Socks. She goes in for the Earthquake and puts the Beartic in the low yellow, and thankfully it keeps sleeping, allowing Socks to finish it off. Final Pokemon is Cryogonal, which is a Pokemon that does exist apparently, and I'm not making that up. No, seriously, do y'all even remember this guy? Is this anyone's favorite Pokemon? If so, why? I switch on to Cream Dream, who tanks an Aurora Beam, and thus the Slugfest begins. Cream Dream and the Ice Machine trade Aurora Beams and Ice Beams back and forth for a few turns. Cream Dream gets Cryogonal into the low green whilst being put in the red. I use this opportunity to switch on to Rapunzel in hopes of landing a Sing, and thankfully, despite being hit by the beam twice, she makes it out alive and puts it to sleep. Now that it's asleep and on low HP, I switch on to Pinstripe, who doesn't get killed because Cryogonal is asleep, and he gets the final Flame Charge in, ending the fight. With that, the 7th badge is ours. We make it towards Route 8, and also have an excellent encounter with a Palpitoad. Thankfully, our coverage is now looking fantastic. Surely this luck will continue onwards, right? My phone vibrated because my friend sent me a hilarious meme. Throw it up on the screen, editor. Nice! And so I rightfully named it after the occurrence. We head towards the Dragon Spiral Tower, where Bianca and the professor's dad, Cedric, informs us that Team Plasma are up in the tower. N seems to be in search of a dragon Pokemon who appears to only those who share ideals and a strong will. We blast through the tower, defeating various goons along the way. And at the top of the tower lies N, and the legendary Pokemon Zekrom. What do you think, Mickell? I like the monkey better. He says that if I want to protect the bonds between people and Pokemon, then I need to find the legendary Pokemon Reshiram, and to do so I need to find the Lightstone. He flies away and then we are escorted out of the tower by Bryson alongside Cedric, who wait for humanity. It is then that the champion Alder is like, "Don't worry, I'll beat N. I'm the champion after all." But as we know, adults are literally useless in Pokemon games, so I know it'll be up to me at some point to sort this whole thing out. Don't even try to give me false hope, game. I've been hurt before. I know how this whole thing goes already. To get a lead on where the Lightstone is, we head to the Relic Castle, where the goons be goonin'. We encounter a Yamask, who I name after a criminally underrated show. We clear out most of the grunts hiding in this castle. I meet up with Alder, who confronts Ghestis, and then lets him walk away, which is like, what? Dude! He's clearly a bad guy! Look at his cape! Alder goes to find N to try and stop his ruling of all Pokemon, and the professor calls us and asks us to meet with her at the museum. We fly back to the Necrane City where they are like, "Oh, we have the Lightstone, by the way. That's so crazy. Wow, it was just sitting here the whole time. Wow, can you believe it?" We take their stupid stone, but we don't know how it works, so we make haste to Opelucid City, where the Dragon Gym leader Jaiden may provide some answers. On our way there, we reach a place called the Maw of Icirrus and encounter the best girl, Stunfisk. I love her so much. Inside the Maw, however, a trainer sneaks up behind us and challenges us to a battle. Everything is per usual, and we're just kind of blitzing through our team. It's causing an uproar that is killing all our Pokemon without problem, but I forgot that they are locked into that move, so when she throws her Maracactus out, I knew I was in trouble. Please kill, please kill, please kill. Oh! Are you serious? Ducky, witnessing their counterpart perish, and swears to live up to their honor. With their newfound confidence, they die in the next fight with Bianca. And so does Tartanstein. Don't ask. I don't want to talk about it. We cross the Tubline Bridge, but there is no epic cutscene, and honestly, I feel cockblocked by this. Oh no, the fetish is spreading! But my desires are still somewhat met, in the form of an Emolga encounter on Route 9. I'm incredibly happy about this, obviously. The only Pokemon better on this route is a Ponyard, and its encounter chance is so small, I got it on the next encounter. Whatever. Emolga is precious, and I love him. His name is Honey Lemon. We arrive in Opelucid City, where Ghestis is telling people to release their Pokemon because we have been treating them badly. And then I look to the pile of corpses I've stood on to get here, and I kind of just, he has a point. Jaiden tells me about how Reshiram and Zekrom are two sides of the same coin, but they broke up because they wanted different things. Reshiram wanted a cheeseburger, but Zekrom bought him a beef burger instead, and now they're not friends no more. Oh no! And then Jaiden challenges us to a battle for the final gym badge. But it's a cakewalk. Ice Cream kills the big lizard, Little Bunny puts the dragon to sleep, and an armadillo plays with swords and causes an earthquake. The final badge is ours, Zooey Mama. Upon exiting the gym, the professor congratulates us on our win, and asks us if we regret setting out on this journey, and we reply yes. And rather than asking what's wrong, she's just like, "Oh, that's okay, don't worry, you don't have to tell me everything." Woman, I was hoping for a little counseling maybe, a bit of back and forth. I have to save the world and stuff, and it's a lot of pressure for a 10-year-old. On Route 10, Sharon attempts to challenge us, but we beat him over the head with a bat. Not today, Dork. Daddy's got some bigger fish to fry. Inside the Victory Road, we have a fantastic encounter with the Dino, and it is truly my lucky day. We finally arrive at the Pokemon League. Together alongside Rapunzel, Hamfam, Socks, Olivia, Lucky Day, and Honey Lemon, we were aiming for the top. But there was this uneasy feeling, as if I had forgotten something. Something important. I tried to brush it off. So we walked through the gates, and thus began the beginning of the end. Shauntal, the Ghoul Guardian, is the first of the Elite Four to make her acquaintance. Cofregus meets with Rapunzel on the battle floor. Rapunzel immediately puts Cofregus to sleep, so we get a clean switch onto Lucky Day. She uses Work Up while the foe sleeps, boosting her physical and special attack. She then lands a crunch one hitting him. Next is Golrock, and to deal with him, we crunch it also. Chandelier emerges. It uses Fire Blast, which almost half health Lucky Day, and to respond, she uses another Work Up. I do this because I know the Jealous Scent is coming up next, and I'm not sure if we can one-shot it with only one boost. Lucky Day endures the second Fire Blast, putting her in the critical red, but she crunches, killing the Chandelier. Finally, the Jealous Scent appears. But witnessing the double worked up Lucky Day, it cries, comes, and dies. In that order. The first Elite Four is ours. Alright. First down and no casualties. Things are looking good. We can do this, guys. Let's take that trophy home. The second Elite Four is Grimsley, the usurper of darkness. His Scrafty emerges and faces off against Olivia. She flies into the sky and crashes into Scrafty, putting him in the low yellow, taking a sand attack on the way down. She finishes him off the next turn with another fly. Crocodile emerges and immediately hits Olivia with a foul play. To respond, Olivia goes in for a Feather Dance, only to miss due to the sand attack from earlier. However, on the next turn, the Feather Dance goes off, reducing Crocodile's attack. and Olivia tanks the foul play, also being healed to half health thanks to a citrus berry. Crocodile goes in for another foul play, putting Olivia in the critical red, and she lands one final feather dance, reducing this Crocodile to baby. I switch on to Rapunzel, who tanks the foul play and lands a sing, putting him to sleep. From here, Ham Bam switches in and finishes off the Crocodile with 2 arm thrusts. Flypart appears and uses Attract, but Ham Fam ain't about that e-girl life. Resisting his simping urges, he gets her into the yellow. I switch on to Socks, who tanks the slash. She uses a sword dance twice while sustaining damage, and X's his Flypart for the kill. Finally, Bishop appears, but due to outspeeding in the swords buff dance, he goes down to 1 earthquake. Things are moving super well, but there is a feeling from deep inside my stomach that I can't seem to shake, as if something truly horrible awaits. Why? The third of the Elite Four is Caitlyn, the Mind Maiden. This fight, however, is incredibly one-sided. Lucky Day manages to use Work Up on the first turn and take Reuniclus's Psychic. She then uses Crunch on all the remaining Pokemon, completely wiping the floor with Caitlyn. It was shocking just how brilliant this was going. There was only one more Elite Four member left and just one fight with N, and this Nuzlocke was over. Was the horrible feeling I had perhaps a fear of steamrolling this game? Trying to subside my disbelief, the team and I head into the final room of the Elite Four and face Marshal, the Palm of Power. The battle begins and Thor faces Olivia. Olivia uses Feather Dance to bring his attack down, but Thor follows up with a Stone Edge that almost half-healths her. She pierces the sky and lands a fly that puts Thor in the low yellow, and then tanks another Stone Edge, leaving her in the critical red. But knowing I go first, she uses Fly again and finishes off the Thor. Next appears the Saw. With Thor dead, I have Olivia use Attack to block the retaliate. She uses Fly and takes out all of Sork's HP. Well, so I'd hoped. I forgot that Sork's ability was sturdy, meaning that if the said Pokemon potentially were to take a move that could one-hit it, it would survive with 1 HP. Unaware of him having this ability, this unfortunately is the end of Olivia. I'm sorry, Olivia. You were truly the wind beneath the team's wings. We dedicate this fight to you. Thank you for all you did. Honey Lemon takes up the stage and Sork heals, but he is then immediately taken down to 1 HP again when Acrobatics is used. Knowing how this would play out, we force Marshal to use all of his full restores here by having Honey Lemon consistently wear him down to 1 HP with Acrobatics. Sork uses Stone Edge and puts Honey Lemon in the low yellow, and he follows up with a Volt Switch that kills the Sork and switches in with Rapunzel, who faces off against a Conkeldurr. I was hoping that Marshal would switch onto Main Shao, as we could probably tank a hit from that thing if our Sing missed, but unfortunately she was up against the one Pokemon that totally counters her. There was only one potential way out of this newfound mess: land the Sing and switch. But my luck runs out as she misses the Sing and Conkeldurr lands a critical hit Hammer Arm, killing her instantly. 2 great Pokemon who had been with us for so long met their end here, but those were the gambles that I took. Lucky Day appears and uses Dragon Tail, putting Conkeldurr in the low red, and dodges the Hammer Arm. We then switch to Hamfam, who tanks the Hammer Arm, and in a heated rage, he channels his anger into flames and completely overbears the remaining Pokemon. All that is left now is N. We walk up the long staircase, and at the top lies a defeated Elder, and N towering over it. He then says Babushka, and suddenly an entire ass castle just appears from beneath the championship. N says he'll meet us at the top, but we'll settle things once and for all. Upon his leaving, Elder says that we need to stop N's plans for liberating Pokemon from people, because friendship is epic, and that's convincing enough for me. Apple Pie and Cream Dream also managed to catch up with us. Together with this new reforged team, and the dreams of all those who helped us get here, we walk through the doors, and onto the final battle. N awaits us with a Zekrom, eager to battle. It's in this moment that the Light Stone transforms, and legendary Reshiram appears before us. Reshiram, you wanna help us? Nah, I like the monkey better. So Bob sits this one out, and yes, his name is Bob. And my team and I face off against the final hurdle, N. Lucky Day faces off against Zekrom, so I immediately switch on to Socks, as the Fusion Bolt doesn't affect him. Socks uses Swords Dance while Zekrom sets up the light screen. He tanks the Giga Impact and follows up with another Swords Dance. Now that Zekrom has to wait a turn to recharge, Socks goes for a third Swords Dance. Socks then tanks a second Giga Impact, putting him in the low yellow, but one-shots Zekrom with a devastating Earthquake. Kling Kling appears and the Quick Claw kicks in, allowing Socks to let out another Earthquake, which kills it. But it turns out it was a Zoroark, which is, okay, sure, whatever, I kind of forgot he had that. And then, the scary Caracosta appears. This Pokemon is honestly the most deadly on N's team in my opinion. It's bulky, it has a strong damage output, and I only have one counter to him on my team. I needed a clean switch, so I made the devastating choice to have Socks attempt another Earthquake in hopes of one-shotting it. But she is outsped by an Aqua Jet priority move which I didn't know they had. Socks falls, so Apple Pie can run. Well, so I assumed. Apple Pie's Leech Seed connects with the Caracosta, but she is then immediately crit one-shot by the Stone Edge that follows. This demon has wiped 2 integral Pokemon already. Pokemon that have been through so much just met their ends here. But its lust for blood doesn't quite end there. Lucky Day appears. She begins using Workout to power up a bit, but then is immediately Stone Edge, putting her in the critical red. No crits, no buffs, pure stab and muscle. This thing is a monster in every sense of the word. Lucky Day goes in for the Dragon Tail, hoping to crit, but it only gets Caracosta in the low yellow. And then she is killed by a Stone Edge. Half my team wiped out in an instant. The situation couldn't look any dire. But giving in to despair would go against the wishes of the fallen. We stand up, we persevere. I switch on to Hamfam, who was enraged by the amount of death that surrounds him. He won't let his fallen comrades' sacrifices go to waste. He lunges at the Caracosta, and thanks to the sacrifices made by our team, he's able to defeat the Turtle God with an arm thrust. The real Klinklang appears and faces off against Hamfam, and Hamfam tanks the flash cannon and proceeds to arm thrust the Klinklang into submission. It uses full restore, but an enraged Hamfam uses an arm thrust yet again, putting it back into the red. N out of heals has his Klinklang let out another Hyper Beam and leaves Hamfam on minimal health. But regardless of his pain, he pushes through and finishes the Klinklang off with a Heat Crash. The next Pokemon, however, is Archeops. There was really only way to pull one win out of the situation, but it required a clean switch. Archeops completely counters Hamfam, and Honeylemon can't take this thing on due to its typing. It all comes down to Cream Dream, but he is infamous for a lack of tankiness. So he needs all of his HP in this fight if we're gonna win. Hamfam looks at me and smiles as he takes his final stand. Archeops lunges at him, and Hamfam entrusts the future of this run to us. So long, partner. Cream Dream steps up to the plate. He releases a devastating Frost Breath, killing the Archeops, and finally, N's Venonix appears. Cream Dream manages to hold on to dear life after tanking a Flash Cannon thanks to Hamfam's sacrifice, and uses a Mirror Coat, which deals double damage if we have taken damage from a special attack move. Cream Dream channels the damage it's receiving and turns it into hope. She releases a Mirror Coat and finishes off the battle, once and for all. Socks, Apple Pie, Lucky Day, Hamfam, thank you guys for everything. I can't believe it. Zekrom and I were beaten? I guess your feelings were truly stronger than ours. Perhaps Unova needed someone like you to take the helm. After all that, you've truly disappointed me, Anne. The ideals I instilled into you, I'd hoped would bear fruits. But alas, you are a fool lost to an ordinary trainer. Perhaps ruling the world is a job better suited to myself. How could you say that? Ruling the world? What are you, a villain? Yes, obviously! Oh my god, are you serious right now? Look at his cape! But now that Mickell here knows of my plan, I'll have him eliminated. And that is when the sinking feeling came back. What I'd forgotten was the true final boss, the King of Darkness, Ghestis. A team stacked with hard-hitting Pokemon. As we look at the looming death above us, alongside my last 2 Pokemon, we realize that this isn't a fight we can win. We can only go out as those who challenge the colossal odds despite knowing how it would end. As we're about to accept defeat, something deep inside of us begins to resonate. All of our fallen comrades haven't given up, so why should we? Cofregus appears, so I switch from Lucky Day onto Socks, dispelling Ghestis is toxic. Socks powers up with a Swords Dance while Cofregus protects. Socks Swords Dance again and tanking the Shadow Ball, but she obliterates the Cofregus with an Earthquake. Hydreigon emerges and is furious. It immediately Focus Blasts Socks and she fades away. Cream Dream appears and dodges the Focus Blast and retaliates with a Frost Breath, putting Hydreigon in the low yellow, whilst also causing a freeze. It, however, bursts out the next turn and kills Cream Dream with a Fire Blast. She fades, and Honeylemon emerges, and lands a critical Volt Switch, which finishes off the Hydreigon. He switches into Hamfam, who faces off against Bisharp. Hamfam dodges the Stone Edge, and then one-shots the Bisharp with a Heat Crash. Bullfalin appears to face off against the Fire Giant. Hamfam arm thrust, putting Bullifant in the low green, but is then hit with a Head Charge, which immediately puts him in the critical red. The Bullifant takes damage as a result of the Rocky Helm Hamfam is wearing, and the damage from the move. Hamfam arm thrusts again, but unfortunately only goes off twice, being unable to kill. And then Bullifant head charges, killing them both. Apple Pie switches in against the Seismitoad. She charms her opponent, making him unable to attack this turn, and then sets up a Leech Seed. She uses Vine Whip, bringing it down to the low yellow, but it uses a full restore. We continue to wear it down with the Vine Whips until we break through its healing, and eventually, the healing stops, and she finishes off the Seismitoad. The final Pokemon comes out. the mighty Electros. Apple Pie uses Attract, but unfortunately Electros gets through it all and kills it with a flamethrower. Apple Pie fades away, and Lucky Day emerges, making a grand appearance. She uses Dragon Tail and hits Electros, putting him into the low green, and Electros follows up with an acrobatics that brings Lucky Day's health into the low yellow. She lets out one final Dragon Tail, putting Electros in the critical red, and then fades away due to another acrobatics. But thanks to that, it allows us the opportunity to finish this battle once and for all. Honey Lemon stands as the final Pokemon. Ghestis, out of healing and therefore out of options, is forced to bear the brunt of a final, devastating move. Honey Lemon! Channeling everyone's emotions, Honey Lemon converts them into power. He leaps into the sky and releases his final attack. Ghestis loses the fight and swears vengeance while disappearing into the shadows. N is thrilled that this new age of Unova will be led by us, but we really can't accept the role. After all, I technically lost a Nuzlocke. Think about it, if I didn't use the Pokemon who counted as dead in the fight, I could have played the traditional Hardcore Nuzlocke rules the way they were meant to be played. But in doing so, the loss was guaranteed. So I didn't feel like we deserved that win. I didn't feel like a champion of any kind. I'm sorry, Anne, but I can't accept it. But then, when I think about all that my team has been through, about all the time we spent, all the courage they had, I realize just because I didn't feel like a winner as a Nuzlocke, doesn't mean my Pokemon shouldn't feel like the winners they truly are. What they achieved was so great, and, well... Fuck you, this is my video! So I take the crown from N and then he explodes. And looking at the crown's jewels, I realize the sell price on this thing is nuts. Enough to probably rent out a PNG of a bar for half a minute. Hey, champions of Unova, get your drink on. The grog's on me tonight.